Hello, WealthLab 8 users. Glitch here. Today we'll see what's new in WealthLab 8 build 148/149. So let's get into it. The first new thing that we added in build 148 is a new theme. So themes are just a visual representation of the UI, and we go to the theme menu. We now have an ultra dark theme. So if I select that, we have a nice high contrast theme that mirrors many of the more modern charting platforms out there. If you like pitch black charts with high contrast indicators and candles, this ultra dark theme is for you. All right, so next, let's take a look at a few changes in the Signals tab. So let me go to my Patreon folder and open up the MetaStrategy here, and we'll take a look at some of the strategies within the MetaStrategy. For example, this deterministic knife juggler uses a position size of 5% of equity. So all of these strategies in the MetaStrategy use a percent of equity position size. And let's see what kind of signals this gives us. So here we have 20 signals, and the position size 5% of equity is based on the simulated backtest position that is beginning 10 years ago. That is my data range setting. So over the past 10 years, the backtest has accumulated quite a bit of money here. So all of that is available to the position size of each signal. However, if I'm trading this, and let's say I sync this up to a dummy alpaca account, I want to change the position size to use the current account value in my alpaca account. So we could do that typically by going into preferences and going into the trading preference and checking this use broker account value. So what we've done is exposed that checkbox right here in Signals. So you could just turn that on and you see all of the quantities change to use the current broker account value and use that as the basis for the percent of equity position sizing. So even if I change brokers here, if I go through the different dummy brokers, then as I cycle through them, you'll see that the position size changes. All of these brokers have increasing simulated equity values, except broker account 5 here, I guess. Let's go down to account 4. I think that's the big one. So yeah, there is account 4. So you can also turn off the feature by unchecking that. So it's a handy way to synchronize your signals with what's actually in your account. And while we're here, let's take a look at another column we added to the Signals view, last close. So this was requested on our forum. So now there it is. We have last closing price of the symbol available right here in your Signals view. So the next thing I want to talk about is also related to the dummy broker. And I can't really show it now because it's a Saturday, but the dummy broker, if I were to go in here and place an order for example, a Binance symbol, let's place an order to Binance. Oh, we see it was filled. So the dummy broker is much more responsive now with fills. It will use streaming data if it's available to generate the fill price. So the streaming can come either right from here from the order manager, or if you open up a quotes window and put in all of the symbols that you'll be trading and let them stream, then the dummy broker will very responsively fill trades using that streaming data. The final thing I want to talk about is some helpful changes to the homepage. In this common tasks area, we have a number of tabs here now that will appear if you have brokers and or data providers that you haven't yet configured. So here I have Schwab. Personally, I don't have a Schwab account, so it's not configured. So this will remind you of which providers you need to configure to use. So for example, Schwab, if I double click on it, it will take me to a configuration window where it will allow me to configure the Schwab broker. And likewise, if I go to a data provider, I can double click it and it will take me to that data provider in the data manager where I can configure that provider. The last tab are data providers that are configured but are not enabled. So WealthLab will not consider them when downloading unlinked data. If you'd like WealthLab to consider your data provider, which is especially important for intraday data, maybe you've installed the TradeStation extension, for example, you can enable it right here. You just check the box and that will enable TradeStation as a provider. It's the equivalent of going into the data manager historical providers and checking TradeStation here in the list. So if I turn it off here, disabling it, then we will see that it's also disabled here. So a few handy things to particularly aid new users who may need help understanding what data providers need to be configured and enabled to be able to work smoothly in WealthLab. So that's it for now, guys. Or is it? Let's take a look at a few things that I recently added to data extensions real quick. So if I open up a chart, go to indicators, we have a bunch of new indicators here in data extensions. The first one, something we already had, market sentiment, but we added a few new components to market sentiment, namely these volume components. For example, now you can obtain advancing, declining, and unchanged volume on all of the three major markets. And with that in place, we also have a number of sentiment indicators. We have the McClellan oscillator on all three of the major markets. We have the advanced decline line. We have advanced decline percent, advanced decline ratio, new high, new low line and percent, up-down volume oscillator, up-down volume ratio. So a suite of sentiment indicators now in data extensions, making that extension just that much more valuable. So, okay, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time, and see you all on the forums.